Moby Destroyed. I guess it's a Life on the Road book, published by Damiani. It's about 100 pages. It's hardback, and it's a nice sturdy thing. It's £25 retailing, and I guess I think you can get it cheaper on Amazon or somewhere like that. And I picked it up at a charity shop for £4, I have to say. I think there's an insert thing here, so maybe this originally came with the DVD, the CD or whatever it's called, to accompany the album. So the album is Destroyed, and this was in 2011. Graphic design by Chris Ritchie. Gianni Grandi was the pre-press. Damiani Editore in Bologna, Italy. I'll put a link for their website. Obviously, we all know Moby, I presume, and I will put a link for Moby's website on the information box. Also, before I jump into this, some of you students who might be watching this, Moby does a really great website called Moby Gratis, where he gives his music free to students so they can use them in their multimedia. It's a really great way of sharing his music free, and I use it a lot with students as well for when they're working on their multimedia stuff. So it's called Moby Gratis. I'll put a link in that because I think it's really important. So, Life on the Road for Moby. The opening credits here, Moby does state that he's actually been taking pictures for a long time. Now, interestingly, he was given a camera by his uncle Joseph Kugleski, who was a photographer for the New York Times and National Geographic. And I'm going to research that a little bit. It'd be interesting to make a link with some of his work with Moby. Now, this book, as you can see, really, I think the cover sums what the book's about, and the book's about obviously his interest in taking pictures, his monotony of daily life, and privileged position of touring and travelling the world. I think we all know Moby is a very prolific songwriter and toured a lot around the world. And here's his little statement here. It says, "The strangest of touring, a constant nomadic, peripatetic daily existence, B, the anonymous spaces, hotels, room, backstage areas, airports. C, the complete isolation, hotels, rooms, juxtaposed with the complete immersion in the seas of people. D, constantly existing in artificial spaces that are being created by other people." I think often we're sceptical about people who become successful in music or actors and stuff like that, and becoming and saying, "Oh, I'm a photographer, blah, blah, blah." And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think if you're a major rock star, why can't you be a painter? And if you're a major pop star, why can't you be a photographer as well? And I think I appreciate anything really. And if he has the privilege that he can publish a book, then why not? I think it's got to be embraced rather than criticised. And I've added the book to the camera reviews. It's just something different. I've had it on my bookshelf for a while. Obviously, there may be some fans of Moby who'd like to see this. So I'm going to drop this down. All the pictures seem to be roughly on the right-hand side. I'll not show you all of it. Actually, at the back here, there's a sort of key guide to where the destroyed pictures are in location to the world. I'll try my best to update that on you. So when we're looking at this, we're looking at landscape. We're looking at personal reflections of the brain in a way. He's shooting that monotony he sees every day, and he's trying to illustrate it as a photographer. And I think that's pretty good. It's a pretty good starting point. So we got here New York City, and they're sort of ready to go into the sky airport look, I presume. This is Manchester, Chicago, Brussels. I'm just going to drop this down a little bit more. And I guess it's an insight to the abstract of Moby's life when he's away touring, and he doesn't have to do this. I think if he can illustrate some of his thoughts on print to accompany his music, and that's fantastic. That's another dimension to what he's about as an artist. I think that's great. Paris, and then you can see he's got a good eye for detail. He's looking, and he's observing everyday things. And, you know, we've got to turn this around. He's that one person sitting here and everybody's looking at him. It must be a crazy life to live. And that was Perth, obviously Australia. And that, I think, is the desert in California. Newark. So it's going from the sort of abstract loneliness and the views from sitting in an airport lounge or a hotel to this sort of full-on thing. And I don't think you're ever going to capture, this is Geneva, I don't think you're ever going to capture the feeling this would give you, or the sort of New York City skyline, that could be Central Park or maybe. What it's going to give you is a sort of complete opposite loneliness and that sort of on your own feel. He does state in the initial intro that his first camera was a Nikon F, and I presume a lot of this is on digital. This is Italy. So I like the way he's going from that sort of lonely, abstract isolation feel. I think this probably sums it up. That's the, if anybody who knows, that's the channel drive your car on link, and that's like Sumatra. You know, that's I've seen that sort of sunset coming in on an international flight when you're going out to the Far East and you're coming down, and that's usually daybreak when you're coming in, to like something like that in Lausanne where it's that boom. And remember, you know, that's a great shot, isn't it? He's got another agenda when he's out there. He's you know, he's a musician. He's got to keep thousands of other people happy and focus on his musicianship, his songs, his work, blah blah blah. But I think having this at quite a good standard as well, you know, and it is a sort of secondary part of what he's about. And actually, you know, that's a great shot. There's not many people and photographers can see beyond that. That sort of side of the shot where you're actually looking at the backlight and you're seeing the light and how it works with different parts of the plane, and you know, and he's exposed it right as well, and it's a clever photographer, you know. It's not something everybody could achieve that, and I think he's open. He's like, he sees everything, and he obviously observes light, but he sees everything as an open canvas, and he can manipulate the shot and where he is going off what that light's doing. And you know, that wasn't sitting there. He's had to manipulate that in his exposure control a little bit, and as well as the framing. So, you know, hats off to him. Minnesota, Barcelona, and then boom, look at that, backstage at Paris. Wow, that's a great shot. And I noticed a lot of them are either looking up to the sky, and I guess it's that sort of, here we go, I'm going up there, to boom, Brisbane. And this, it's interesting, that's the hotel view. It's got to be, how many times have we looked at that hotel room in another country and photographed the view outside and sent it home and said, there's my view. And I guess this is what he's doing. Iowa, that was Paris, the earlier shot. Prague. Yeah, Blackwell Tunnel, I think, by the looks of it. Could be Kingsway, but I think it's Blackwell. Wow, look at that, Belgium, wow. Luxembourg, again, that tunnel, that seeing the end, and that, it's very abstract. It's some great stuff here. You know, I do appreciate what he's trying to do here. And there's something which I'm trying to deliver in the way I'm talking about the way he's viewing this, and I'll probably get it when I turn this off. But there's definitely there's definitely a feeling of him capturing his movement through static pictures, where you can see where he's going to be 2 or 3 minutes later and understand where he's been, and then you get where he's going. And he's using depth of field and lines to sort of associate that with movement and claustrophobia. That might make no sense. It makes a little bit sense to me, but I'm sort of trying to grasp the sort of concept he's trying to illustrate here. And I hope I've sort of nailed it a bit. I'm blabbing on a bit, but I love that shot. What a great shot. Check that out. He's a decent photographer. I think you've got to sort of applaud that. That other shot actually was in Brazil, and this is Melbourne. And you can see he's a very, very sort of a well-travelled guy. And that abstract, you know, the stuff we see every day, the chaos of people travelling and lining up and moving and going through that almost heavenly tunnel, New York. Wow, look at that, Chile. So I'm going to just run to the final shots. I love that. Isn't that great? I think this is a nice little book. I'm going to go and look out for the album now and put it in there. I have quite a bit of his work, previous work, the sort of classic stuff. But I think I'll end on that. That's him, self-portrait in Brazil. I think it's worth a couple of quid, this. Definitely get out and have a look for it. And yeah, well done. It's something different to add in your bookshelf. There's some decent photography in that. And I think you can understand where Moby is in his position as a photographer within this context, and appreciate his music, and maybe put the music on and read the book. Cheers.